Hi everyone, Herman here, and in this video I am going to show you how I use my iPad as an entrepreneur every day. I seriously love my iPad, especially with the Apple Pen. I love the way it feels to handwrite stuff out, but have it be accessible from my computer, from my phone, just being able to see my handwritten notes everywhere. I just seriously love it, and I use my iPad every day. And so I am making this video to explain what I do with my iPad. Let's dive right in. So as an entrepreneur, what do I do? What do I use my iPad for? All right, and I am going to be using my iPad to explain how I use my iPad, because why not? All right, so the first thing I use my iPad for is journaling. So I journal every day, and it isn't like a formal journal where I answer prompts or anything like that. I write things that I'm grateful for. I write down ideas. I have a lot of ideas every day, and I feel like if I don't put them somewhere, I'm consistently thinking about them, and it's essentially therapy for me to be able to just grab all of my ideas, put them down, and then it makes me feel at ease. So journaling for me is huge. I do that every day. I journal every day. And when I am journaling on my iPad, so I journal from my phone, I journal from in my computer. I essentially use Apple Notes. It's not like I'm using anything fancy. But when I do it from my iPad, I'm doing it with my Apple Pen, and I find that soothing. I also find the ability to handwrite things out, and in my journal I get creative. So as I'm journaling, I may be drawing a dragon or something. There you go, a dragon, because why not? And that's what I do as I am journaling every day. I'm putting down my thoughts and also writing down things that I need to get done for the day, or projects that I'm working on, ideas that I have to improve our company. So for me as an entrepreneur, journaling is huge. It helps me. That's the first way that I use my iPad. Another way that I just recently used my iPad for is to create diagrams that I use with my graphic designer. Okay, so I'm gonna show you that right here. So I was just doing that today. I created a marketing sales letter, and I needed a graphic, and I knew what I wanted in my head. I didn't want to leave it up to the graphic designer to create something. So then I created this graphic using the Apple Pen, really quickly sketched it out, and then I sent a Loom video to my graphic designer so that they could create it. So that they could actually just work their magic to make it look better. But let me just show you here what I mean. Okay, so you could see here I'm inside Miro, which is another way that I use my iPad. In fact, let me now go back and let me just say that one of the biggest ways that I use my iPad as well, even though right now I am in the app Freeform, I use it with Miro. It pairs up really well with Miro because you could you could use the Apple Pen with it. And so I write notes, and especially I use Miro because Freeform, you only have access to Freeform with people who have Apple Apple devices. Whereas you can use Miro and share that with anybody. So that's what I like. So I use it a lot with Miro. Okay, so let me go back to Miro a second. You could see here this pyramid that I drew. That was hand drawn using my Apple Pen. So I draw these images out. Here's another one. Let me just show you here. So these images right now, and they're kind of loading a little bit funny. Let me move them around so you could see. You see there? So that was hand drawn using my Apple Pen. This was also hand drawn using the Apple Pen. So I use that a lot to get my ideas out. And if I'm creating, marketing related content and so on, where I have to think of creative ideas, I draw it out using my Apple Pen. Okay, so that's another way. Believe it or not, okay, so let me just handwrite marketing materials is another use case. So handwriting my marketing materials, that's important for me. So before I even use all the AI tools that are now out there to brainstorm and so on, for me, it's the way I think about things is that I think of a structure first, or sometimes I don't even know the structure that I'm going for. And it's hard for me to create a prompt to use AI to create anything. And so sometimes I have to just kind of get my thoughts out, what I'm vaguely thinking about, using the Apple Pen and the iPad to create some sort of sketch, or if I'm creating content for marketing, or if I'm creating a video tutorial. if I am creating a video sales letter, if I'm creating a course. Actually, those are all ways that I use my iPad. Courses, sales letters. Well, that would fall under marketing. So VSL stands for video sales letter, sales letters, obviously, and then email campaigns and so on. If I'm trying to figure out the structure, I'll think of like, how do I want to, for example, I'll write the subject line and I'll say, this is email number 1. And then if I think maybe this needs to change, then I'll rearrange the order of things. So because of the flexibility, it allows me to come up with stuff really quickly and brainstorm ideas where I feel like maybe typing things out may slow me down. It depends. It depends on what I'm brainstorming. It depends on what I am thinking about, what I'm trying to do. Sometimes typing might be a lot faster, but if I need to brainstorm, I'll often do it like this in the iPad and mind map things out. It also is fun for me, so it makes the work more enjoyable to do it this way. Okay, when it comes to courses, I want you to see this for a second. I think I still have it. Okay, so I'm in Miro again. You could see that I literally hand wrote and created the diagrams for this sales letter, and it's showing a little bit funky right now because Miro, when it loads, if I were to select it and move it, then it'll shake, but actually it's better because it's kind of like hiding what I'm writing. But in any case, you could see here, I handwrite this stuff out, and you may think that might actually slow me down, or it's not as efficient to create content where you're handwriting things out. But I heard this podcast or something like that by Cal Newport, the guy who created the book Deep Work, in which he was talking about the comedian Jerry Seinfeld, and how Jerry handwrites his jokes out on yellow legal pads. And Cal Newport was saying when it comes to creative work, slower is actually sometimes better, or like the goal isn't efficiency when it comes to creative work. And I'm like, that's interesting because, I'm always trying to be as efficient, as fast as possible. But when I am hand drawing stuff out, sometimes I even feel better because I'm enjoying the process more and it helps me come up with better ideas. I don't know what it is. The fact that I enjoy it makes me work more, and it makes me stick to it longer, it makes me focus deeper because I get into the flow. And so I think I come up with better work because of that, and I do it. So I handwrite. This is a sales letter that I hand wrote out. And then I was telling you that I did for some marketing courses that I created inside our company. I literally hand wrote them out, and you could see them here, and I'm hovering through them. So that was all done with my iPad. And so again, I find it enjoyable to handwrite things out and structure my thoughts, and then I can drag and move them around, and it's just simpler because it's like, that's where I find the benefit of an iPad is over a notebook, is the fact that you have the flexibility once you write stuff out to move things around. Yeah, so for me, I love that. Another way that I use my iPad in our company is to create SOPs. Okay, so I think of basic SOPs like, step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3. Again, I tend to do this, not always, but I handwrite things out because I enjoy it. I also create, this is another one, SOP regarding SOPs. I'm just going to call it SOPs, flowcharts to document decision making. So if you're ever documenting an SOP, sometimes it's super easy and straightforward, like do this, click here, go there, send this email and use this thing. And it's just very straightforward. You don't have to think about it. You just kind of have to follow the steps, kind of like baking a cake where you just put in the ingredients, follow the recipe, and you come out with a cake. But like sometimes for me, I'm trying to document a process that's more complex. So where I have to think, okay, if this happens, then I do this. But if it's not like that, then I do this other thing. And so I create these flowcharts where I include the instructions. And then I say, okay, so once you do this, then do that. And then once you get to this place, then you're going to think like, is this like this or is this like that? And if the answer is yes, then you do this thing. And if the answer is no, then you do that thing. Actually, I always put the yes on the right and the no on the left. That's just me. But yeah, so I come up with these decision-making trees. Let me see if I can pull one up here. All right, so you could see here on my screen, this is one that a flowchart that I created in Miro, and you could see that I literally hand wrote these things and then eventually replaced the handwriting with actual text. But initially, when I first started this, I hand drew this thing out. And I like it because I can quickly sketch it out and change it around and move it. And it's a way for me to get the process out quickly. And again, because I enjoy using the iPad and the Apple Pen so much, it's another excuse to use it and work using my Apple Pen, my iPad. So I literally try and fit as much work or try and do as much work as possible from my iPad using the Apple Pen. Like try and find any way I can make work be completed from my iPad. Again, it's just an enjoyment thing for me. I really enjoy it. So that's why I do that. Another way that I use my iPad is for planning. Okay, so I create using Miro, I create this handwritten plans. Again, it's something where if I have to sit down here and type things out and then come up with a plan, that might feel boring to me. That might feel draining. But then if I create that same plan, if I get to do it from my iPad, I may not even do it here in my desk. I might take my iPad outside to the living room or something, or take it. Sometimes I work on the balcony, sitting and just looking out and just hand drawing things out. To me, that's a great experience when it comes to work. So it makes things more enjoyable. So for me, planning, that's another thing that I can do using my iPad. And it looks exactly the same way. Let me see if I can find one. All right, so I'm here and you could see that I hand drew a lot of these things out, hand wrote a lot of these things out. Yeah, so this is a big marketing project that I needed to get done, and I created the plan for it a lot of the plan was created using my iPad. I also use it to create wireframes. So wireframes is whenever you're going to create a website or you're going to create a funnel sequence for marketing purposes. I like to create them again using my iPad. So you could check this out right here. I'm trying to visualize what I'm going to come up with before I even start working on it. So for me, I was lost when I saw this plan right here that I created. I'm like, where am I going to put the videos? I can't see it. And so sketching things out, drawing them, visualizing them helps me out. So I'm like, oh, I need a video here. I need a video here. I need a video here. These are all the places. So that is another way that I use my iPad, is to create these wireframes that allow me to visualize things before I even start building them. I find that super helpful. Another way that I use my iPad is video tutorials, YouTube, which I am obviously doing now. So I connect my iPad with a cable. And if you're wondering like how I'm able to create this video, my iPad is connected with a cable to my Mac. And then I have my camera here. And then I have this software called Screen Studio, which if I can find an affiliate link, I'll put it down below. If not, just check them out. If you want to support the channel, if I have an affiliate link, it should be below. And I love Screen Studio because it allows me to record my iPad like this. And I am able to come up with these videos that are more engaging, and then on top of that, it makes it look nice. So that's another way that I use my iPad. Sometimes I use my iPad when giving feedback. So maybe I take a screenshot of a page and then I say like, hey, let's move this down like that. If somebody gives me some work that they did and I'm just giving them feedback, I may take a screenshot and give them feedback about it using my iPad. Again, I'm always trying to see how can I get this work done using my iPad, because that's what brings me joy. I have a lot of fun using it. I know it sounds super awkward and geeky, but I really enjoy creating things on my iPad. Let me see. I took other notes here just in case I have more ideas. Yeah, collaborating with my team. So sometimes if I have an idea for something, I'll draw it out and create a Loom video and send it to them. I use my iPad to explain concepts to my team. So if I need to explain to them, hey, here's how I'm thinking about things, I'll draw something out like this. I'm very visual and I like to draw things out. It helps me visualize things. So yeah, these are the ways in which I use my iPad to help me in my entrepreneurial journey. This is how, as an entrepreneur, I use my iPad every day. I literally love it. And obviously the last one is creating videos like this. I mean, I already said YouTube, but yeah, there you go. If you have an iPad and you like making videos, this is another use case for it. You can use the iPad, connect it to Screen Studio, and make cool looking videos. All right, everybody, if you enjoyed this video, leave it a thumbs up. Let me know how you use your iPad in the comments below. Leave me a comment. I'm super excited about how else I can use my iPad. One of the things that you'll notice, I usually stick to black and white. Sometimes I'll use colors. I'm trying to get more into it, but yeah, that is how I use my iPad. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. My name is Hervin. Bye.